Up next, we have another great partner to the program, the co-founder and managing director of IAMovement, and the founder and lead engineer at Vertiver Ecological Engineering Solutions Limited, Mr. Jonathan Barker. Vertiver TNT is a company which specializes in and provides design, engineering, and implementation of the Vete system, alongside other traditional technologies such as rock baskets, retaining walls, water management systems, and all of that, as a green infrastructure cost savings approach for residential, commercial, and also public works projects. So, the IAMovement is an NGO which has become one of the leading civil society voices on climate change in Trinidad and Tobago, and it also supports the implementation of the Vertiver Education and Empowerment Project Model to take Vete System solutions to rural communities. And what this does, it helps to build climate resilience and create sustainable livelihood opportunities, which could be closely linked to these nature-based solutions. Please, let's welcome Mr. Jonathan Barker.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Jonathan Barker. I am the Managing Director of IAMovement. And as you can see today on the present opening screen, you can actually see two organizations shown, two logos up on top. There's IAMovement as well as Vete Ecological Engineering Solutions Limited. I'm just mentioning that because I'm speaking on behalf of really both organizations today that do similar work and also work together. But before beginning, I'd just like to say thank you very much to the Ministry of Public Utilities, WASA Adopter River Program for having us here to present at this conference. And with that, I'll go right on ahead. So the presentation today is called the Vete System and the Vete Education and Empowerment Project Model for Soil and Water Conservation in the Caribbean. The main things we'll be going through: a quick introduction to IAMovement and Vete, which I had just mentioned there, Vete Education and Empowerment Project Model, projects in TNT and the Caribbean, the Vete System overview, and Vete West Indies. So once again, just introducing IAMovement and Vete. IAMovement is a non-profit organization which was founded in 2014, and Vete is a private company. It's a green engineering company which specializes in the use of vetiver grass as a green infrastructure tool and a powerful tool for slope stabilization, erosion control, and so on, which you'll learn more in this presentation, but also a very cost-effective tool to tackle a lot of these types of challenges. The reason we're sort of presenting on both is IAMovement is a non-profit which has really spent 7 years now taking a leading role in climate, all forms of climate action, mitigation, and adaptation. And as such, IAMovement has really sort of adopted this unique Vete Education and Empowerment Project Model, which you'll hear about more today, as a tool to take the Vete system to rural communities. So while Vete is functioning as a private arm, working with residential, commercial, and public stakeholders, IAMovement has really been taking this forward in a way where we can take it through an education and empowerment project model to communities across Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, and other stakeholders as well, as you'll see here. So IAMovement is really touching other areas as well, such as renewable energies, a lot of key education work, documentary film, etc. But of course, today we're going to be focusing more on the climate resilience aspect and the use of vetiver grass. So I'll do a quick introduction to vetiver grass for that matter. So, you know, if you haven't seen this image before, hopefully it's pretty telling. But this is one of the kind of more powerful images. You know, when I say they're quite telling ones that we have a chance to see sometimes when we appreciate vetiver grass, because here you can see the depth of the root system, which can extend up to 10 feet deep in the first 2 years. So that's why we say it's kind of one of the more powerful and telling images, because once you kind of see this image and you can appreciate the depth of those roots, you can't unsee it, you can't forget it, you know, and you can really start to imagine what it can do. Most other grass species, the roots just grow 1 to 2 feet deep. So this is really what makes this plant a unique and powerful bioengineering tool. A lot of key studies have been done on it as well to really show the high tensile strength, and it's also much higher tensile strength that's more comparable to tree roots as compared to grasses, typical grasses with softer roots. So altogether, there's been a lot of academic studies on this showing how this can be used for. And on the right of this image, you can see the different uses: slope stabilization and erosion control, soil and water conservation, and the treatment of contaminated lands and waters, while the leaves are used for other things like carbon capture, thatch roofing, etc. And the roots also have a fragrance they use for making essential oils and perfumes and so on. I'll try and get through as quickly as I can the Vete model, because I do want to sort of focus on the Vertiver system as a technical tool, but the Vete model has really become this powerful way to help take this to rural communities and to people who need it, which is why I wanted to introduce it. So the Vete model, Vertiver Education Empowerment Project, Vete is a tried and tested model or approach to introduce the Vertiver system to communities where it can benefit. And the way we do that is through a number of approaches. First, identification of key project partners, implementing partners, individuals, election of participants, the establishment of Vertiver nurseries, carrying out of technical project training modules, project site selection, and carrying out of the Vertiver system intervention, carrying out of Vertiver handicraft making development training as well, the co-creation of educational material with local project leads, such as project brochure and so on, the production of short documentary educational films, educational videos and or high documentary, quality documentary films, as well as green business development and livelihood opportunities. So the first Vete project was done in Paramin in 2016-17, where 25,000 plants were installed on the hillside farms of Paramin in partnership with the GF Small Grants Program. Here you can see some of the handicraft production which also took place there. We really found that by bringing it as a holistic community approach, a holistic approach to communities with all the benefits, that can really support greater adoption. So while people will really appreciate it to protect their homes, roads, infrastructure, they're also seeing these other values they can get, such as handicrafts making, of course, as you can see here, but the livelihood opportunities which can come from that. And altogether, we found that by packaging it up in that way, it really makes it attractive. And here you can see, soaps, root bundles, and so on that are made with it as well. These are some just quick snapshots of educational brochures that were produced in that project. And we've since taken it to other communities, such as Sandy Grande, for the rehabilitation of quarries. Here you can see a before shot of the quarry. And here you can see sort of how it's transformed over time, sort of going from, bare sand, nothing growing for multiple years, nothing at all. And by channeling organic waste, building topsoil, using vetiver grass, etc., we've really been able to sort of transform that. That's been in partnership with EMA and IW Eco Program project, as also our GF Small Grants Program in those stages. And sort of like these are some of the activities. You can see sort of how that's transformed in just 3 months, just by spreading organic waste on the ground instead of sending it to the landfills. You can kind of see what powerful results can come from a very, very simple action of transforming waste into value. And on the right, you can see that green patch showcases how that has taken place. This is done alongside the Vetiver system, where the vetiver grass is used to tackle erosion, gullies, stabilize, and so on. And here you can see, other handicrafts produced in the training with that community there. We've also been working with the IDB to tackle other cases around Trinidad, coastal erosion. You can see the quarry rehabilitation listed there again, infrastructure protection, contaminated water treatment, community property protection, clay stabilization, watersheds up in Paramin, hillsides again, riverbank stabilization, as well as land-based forms of pollution. Also working with the University of the West Indies to do a lot of key studies on this. So we are expecting some key academic studies to come out this year. These are just some images of a poster which will be out soon. And at the bottom here, you can see a lot of the key listed partners, which does include the likes of EMA, as you can see, UE, IW Eco, National Quarries, Ministry of Works and Transport, the Green Fund, and so on, who you'll see has come on with us in a bigger way now. Also happy to share that we are working with the Green Fund, similar to the Adopt a River program, to take this to the national level in Trinidad and Tobago. Here you can see the communities which we're touching on: Lopino, Tidros y Carcas, Moruga Environments, East Port of Spain, Santa Cruz, Paramin, Cameron, Diego Martin, Brazo, Seco Environs, and Forest Barcant Environs. It's a 2-year program, 2-year project program, but running until the end of 2022, perhaps a bit longer. But we've touched a lot of these communities, and we're touching a lot more of the year 2 communities, the 5 to 8 you can see there this year, and working with all stakeholders who wish to work with us. And where Adopt a River has actually partnered with us for both communities in year 1 and year 2, Lopino being one, as well as Aripo, some work on the Aripo Road you'll see further in this presentation. We also have a regional project working as the technical partner alongside ICA, funded by the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund, but taking this to other islands in the Caribbean, so Antigua and Barbuda, St. Lucia, Dominique could see second there, St. Lucia, and Tobago. This has allowed us to get onto Tobago and in Northeast Tobago as well. We're working with Environment Tobago and tackling Charlottesville and other areas. So the VEEP program aims to ensure participants have a good understanding of the Vertiver system and the wider community learns about the benefits. Participants gain hands-on experience and capacity building. The interventions are actually completed or commenced so that people can really sort of see them taking place and understand how this plan is helping to protect land. A field team is trained and outfitted to keep going forward with the program, and that there's a great understanding on the business opportunities available through Vertiver development. And these are some of sort of like the social media approaches we take to do outreach, especially during COVID, when we really had no choice. We did sort of outreach with a lot of these types of these are WhatsApp messages to say, are you located in Lupino, Maruga, etc. Do you have these challenges? And that's really, really key in terms of reaching persons everywhere. We have to think about all the new approaches and innovative approaches needed during times of COVID. So having done that introduction, I wanted to overview the Vete model. I wanted to really get now into the Vertiver system as this technical tool to see how it works. So it's a cost-effective green infrastructure solution to tackle a wide range of soil and water-related challenges. And I'm going to give you a quick overview here today, but there's also a video link which sort of captures a lot of the technical stuff in 3 minutes, which we can share with you all as well. But you can see it here on the screen, and you can access that to review on your own at some point. I'm sure we could drop it in the chat at the conference. After this presentation, I'll go ahead and do that on the conference day. Basically, yeah, so just jumping now into the Vertiver system, it refers to the correct methods for the use of vetiver grass as a tool. Vetiver grass has been known for a long time, but a key challenge has been in its proper implementation, where it's been implemented incorrectly. And this causes it to really not perform as it is meant to, and as a tool that can really save a lot of money. So the Vetiver system entails the project planning and design depending on the needs, land preparation, contour plotting and correct installation, intercropping where applicable with agriculture, maintenance during establishment and long-term upkeep of the hedgerows, and integration of other vetiver uses for further socioeconomic benefits to support its sustainability. Some facts: it can grow up to 10 feet deep in 2 years. The roots, they're deep and fibrous and can increase soil strength, shear strength by 50%. They can help to provide cost savings as compared with some infrastructure. It can't always replace infrastructure. It depends. Sometimes you have to combine it. But in some cases, it can represent up to 80% cost savings as compared to steel and concrete walls and baskets. It's certified non-invasive, so you can bring it in comfortably knowing that it will not take over and cause challenges. It can treat water and take up contaminants, and it requires propagation by hand. But that means, that it really also creates this livelihood opportunity where people can be involved in that planting process and maintenance process. How does it work as a soil water bioengineering tool? This is a typical slope of construction grade where, slippage might occur. This is what a slip surface normally looks like. I'm sure we've all seen slips at the side of the road. And once that happens, you're sort of forced to do big, expensive retaining walls and so on. And this is how the roots work, intercepting that slip plane and stabilizing it. So this is really how it works as a tool. If you can picture those rows there doing that. Soil and water conservation slows down runoff. This is typical, hillside runoff, taking sediments, eroding. If you can establish a hedgerow on contour, it actually slows down runoff and captures topsoil seeds and can promote groundwater recharge. So this is an image that shows some of that topsoil capture behind a hedgerow, so you can appreciate how it's really actually preventing and reducing the amount of sediments going into streams and rivers. And this is some images in the South Pacific where it's just that. The reefs on the top right, you can see, were very sedimented and nothing was growing in these eroding valleys, but the hedgerows captured topsoil and seeds over time. And on the bottom left, you can see natural reforestation where it's now protecting the reefs. This is also an important example of the Brian Lara Stadium where they planted vetiver in the past, and you can see on the top right, they are alive even though they're brown. That's just a dry season phenomenon, and then they'll come back green. Sometimes they even burn down and come back. But if you don't plant them in hedgerow formation, you do not get the success. And so this is an example of incorrect planting that was done years ago, where even though the plants are there, you have these gullies taking place around them. And that's where IAMovement and Vertiver TT have really been working to really try to bring forward the correct specifications for government partners to take on and use. As compared to planting sporadically in diamond formation, etc. So those are a lot of the key technical introductions and overviews. From here, I'm just going to run through images and pictures very quickly because I know that we have a short amount of time left. But I thought it was important for you all to really get a good appreciation of the technical background of the Vertiver system and how it works as this tool. And so here you can see those hedgerows similarly, and you can appreciate how the hedgerow formation can slow down runoff and promote that groundwater recharge. And you get those hedgerows by planting on contour using the likes of A-frames and so on. So these are images of Carmen. You can see the hedgerows. You can actually see a landslip on the top left that stops at the hedgerow, but this is how it's integrated into agriculture. Vetiver leaves also can be placed on the ground as mulch around crops. So this is keeping down weeds, keeping moisture in the soil. So it has multi-functions. Along with that, you also have this beneficial topsoil rebuilder and moisture retainer. Here it's used for infrastructure on private projects instead of a retaining wall. The client was actually able to save up to about 150,000 TT dollars instead of a $200,000 retaining wall using Vetiver. It costed more on the order of $30,000 to $40,000 as compared to $200,000. More applications here, more residential applications. This is a project in South AARP. Similarly, instead of retaining baskets that costed $500,000, the Vetiver system costed $100,000 to $150,000, saving approximately $300,000. This is Coastal Protection Works project with the CPU on Queen Anne Beach on the south coast. You can see severe slippage on the left, and here you see the hedgerows fully established on the right. This is C3 San Fernando. Serious erosion. Those gullies are about 3 feet deep, even though they don't look like it. It's severe erosion taking place. And instead of had quotations for retaining walls and rock systems that actually cost up to, in the quotations, up to about $10 million. So this is a significant savings where they went with the Vertiver system instead. And we're actually, the total cost came up to about $600,000, representing over 90% cost savings. So this really shows that it doesn't work in all cases. You need to really bring that engineering thinking. Sometimes you need to combine it with some rock baskets and retaining walls still, but you can save clients and the government a lot of money by applying this green engineering approach correctly, which is what we've been trying to promote and do with support from the likes of the Inter-American Development Bank, as well as IDB Lab, as well as Green Fund and so on, and working with ministries and Drainage Division, Coastal Protection Unit, WASA, Dr. River, and so on. So that's a drainage site also, Riverbank in Santa Cruz, where we did the rock baskets and the Vetiver system instead of a retaining wall. And, you know, they've done the cost comparisons and seen that. And I'm happy that I had the chance to at least show you all this example, which is with the Adopt a River program on the Repo Road. And here you can see landslides where we've planted the Vetiver grass, and you can see that sign, which is showcasing the Adopt a River program and the IAMovement, Miwi Green Vetiver TT partnership with the Green Fund and the Tunapuna, I believe, Piaco Regional Corporation, I think, was involved as well. So, you know, some other images of that. And yeah, I'm just running through pictures here because I know that we're pretty much out of time. Just showcasing really, you know, here you can see, to see how strong it is, you can see someone standing on the back of a hedgerow. Really appreciate that this is a different kind of grass, you know. It can also look beautiful if it's well maintained, but it does require that maintenance. We also did some stabilization work at Swimcoll's landfill, Guanapo. And here you can see, you know, the true challenge that is faced with some of the contaminants by the color of the leachate there. And it's just to point out that Vertiver can also be used for treatment of contaminants, which is something we're looking at and hoping to explore more with them as well. You can see you could take up heavy metals like arsenic, cadmium, copper, etc. So we really do hope to do some kind of treatment pilots with them as well. So, you know, we do need to educate the public. That's a key thing. So we put signs like this next to our installations. If you see the signs, be aware to not cut down that grass, to not spray it with weedicide, all those things. You can be part of the solution, help to share the information, but also definitely help to take care of it and protect it. Sometimes if CPAP workers don't know, it's not their fault, but they might cut it down. That's why we put it temporarily. But we're also working to try and educate CPAP as well. And we are launching an app soon. We're super excited to share that. But this is going to be an app where anybody in the country can actually log their challenges, slippage, erosion, put their pictures, geotag, etc. And we receive that information, and then we can validate it and then show up and actually help them through the Miwi Green program, educate and help to install the Vetiver. And they can be part of it and actually become sort of workers, getting some form of a stipend as well, other sites in the community if they wish. And if not, just on their properties, that's fine as well. We have beautiful documentary films. I'll share some of those links as well. This captures some of the work over the years, including the quarry rehabilitation and around the Caribbean. And this is just pictures of old sites. But I know that time is up. So I'm just going to end here. I think I might have been repeating some of the slides accidentally. So I'll just come to the end. I'll just mention we have a website, the Veterinary West Indies, which you can also check, tvnwi.org. as well as the IAMovement pages, IAMovement, IAMovement. And that's on the screen here. You can see the website links. And with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barker.